On this edition of Ball Diamond Podcast, we circle the bases to catch you up on the news and notes from Major League Baseball, and then we get into a very hot topic, new school versus old school approach, and we ask the question, is Shohei Ohtani the best player in Major League Baseball right now? All that and more coming up right here on Ball Diamond Podcast. Welcome into this edition of Ball Diamond Podcast. Glad to be here with you. As mentioned on the J-Man show, this will be a 2-week thing now, just based off of job and busyness and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be every 2 weeks you will get a new episode of Ball Diamond Podcast. As mentioned, we get into, obviously we're going to circle the bases, that's what we're going to lead off with, and then obviously later on, the whole new school versus old school approach with the Chicago White Sox. It's an interesting debate in my opinion. You got an old school manager with a new school team, and then, we're going to ask the question, is Shohei Ohtani the best player right now? I'm going to answer that question, and then I'm going to obviously, again, I'm also asking the question as well. But before we do all that, got to take care of some business, and that business is how you can stay connected to Ball Diamond Podcast, and that is through our social media pages, which is Facebook, Ball Diamond Podcast, and both Instagram and Twitter at Ball Diamond Pod. Alright, as we do to lead off every single show, it is time for Circle the Bases. Circle the Bases on the Ball Diamond Podcast. Alrighty, let's head over to first base. We'll get you caught up with the standings across Major League Baseball instead of the score. So right now, we'll start in the American League. Right now in the American League Central, it is the Chicago White Sox that hold a 3-game lead over the Cleveland Indians. In the AL East, it's the Boston Red Sox holding a half-game lead over the Toronto Blue Jays, and in the West, the Oakland Athletics, who hold the American League's best record, have a 1.5-game lead over the Houston Astros. In the National League, we'll start the National League East. The Philadelphia Phillies trail the Mets by 1 game in the East. In the Central Division, the St. Louis Cardinals hold a 2.5-game lead over rival Chicago Cubs, and in the National League West, the 2 best teams in the National League reside in the National League West. It's the San Francisco Giants holding a half-game lead over the San Diego Padres. Let's go down to second base and get you caught up on news and notes from around Major League Baseball. We'll go to the Los Angeles area, where the Angels, they released future Hall of Famer Albert Pujols last week, who was then picked up by crosstown rival, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And in his first game with the Dodgers, his first actual hit with Los Angeles was an RBI single. Sticking with the Dodgers, 2 of their key members went on the IL list. Shortstop Corey Seager landed on the IL list with a right wrist injury, and right-handed pitcher Dustin May will undergo Tommy John surgery and be out the remainder of the 2021 season. The Los Angeles Angels, sticking in the Los Angeles area, they will be without the best positional player in Major League Baseball for 6 to 8 weeks, as Mike Trout landed on the IL list with a right calf strain. And the New York Yankees will be without Giancarlo Stanton again, as he landed on the 10-day IL list with a right quad injury. As we go to the third base, the American League and National League Players of the Week were announced on Monday, with the American League honor going to Yankee slugger Aaron Judge, and the National League honor going to Colorado Rockies third baseman Josh Fuentes. And as we round third, we are heading for home now. There have been now 3 no-hitters thrown in the month of May across Major League Baseball. May 5th, John Means of the Baltimore Orioles threw his first career no-hitter. That was followed up on May 7th by Wade Miley, left-hander for the Cincinnati Reds, throwing a no-hitter as well, as he credits that no-hitter to a temporary Incredible Hulk tattoo on his right forearm. And then on Tuesday, Tigers right-handed pitcher Spencer Turnbull became the third pitcher in the month of May and the fifth pitcher in Major League Baseball to throw a no-hitters. He threw a 117-pitch no-hitter against the Seattle Mariners in Seattle. And that was Circle the Bases. Circle the Bases is brought to you by J-Man Sports, any and all things sports. Yeah, so some interesting stuff. I mean, again, we're seeing a lot of no-hitters thrown this year. Again, 5 official no-hitters, 6 if you really want to count Madison Bumgarner's 7-inning no-hitter in the doubleheader as well. So a lot of no-hitters. Again, there's a ball change this year. There's a ball change a couple of years ago that a lot of people attributed that to the whole home run craze. Now there's another ball change, and now people are crediting that with all the no-hitters. But I say that, and historically, pitchers this season are lasting, starting pitchers I should say, are lasting shorter than in any other season in history. So, I mean, there's, yes, a lot of no-hitters being thrown, but a lot of other starting pitchers aren't going deep into games. So basically, if you're not throwing a no-hitter, you're getting shelled. That's basically what this season has come down to. All right, so some interesting things have happened across baseball last time we spoke, and the most recent thing that happened was between the Chicago White Sox and the Minnesota Twins. So right now, the Chicago White Sox, they are 26 and 16, in the American League Central leading White Sox, I should say, and the Minnesota Twins, who were thought to kind of be in the mix for the American League Central title. A lot of people were thinking, the White Sox with that starting pitching, and then with the lineup, and then Eloy Jimenez went down, and a lot of people started picking the Minnesota Twins because, again, that lineup is so great. I did not pick the Twins to win the division because of their weak pitching. Well, right now the Minnesota Twins sit at 14 and 27. They are not only the worst team in the Central, but they are the worst team in the American League. And the White Sox in the last couple of weeks have beat up on the Twins. They've scored a lot of runs on the Twins, and it's just been ugly. And so this past week, on Monday, the Twins and the White Sox started a series in Minnesota. And the White Sox were leading 11-4 late in the game when White Sox rookie Yerman Mercedes, who's leading the league in batting average at a .358 clip currently, as I'm speaking right now, he came up with a couple runners on, and again leading 11-4, the White Sox were, and he was facing Willens Ostanino. Now, if you know who that is a positional player for the Minnesota Twins. This is the second time already this season that he actually came in to pitch. And now this guy is not anywhere close to being Shohei Ohtani. He's not a two-way player. He's a player that plays a lot of different positions for the Minnesota Twins. So he comes in, and he's throwing his 40-mile-an-hour eephus pitches. Okay, like I said, there are two guys on. Ron Mercedes ends up hitting a pitch for a home run. Okay, great, awesome. The issue that was that it was on a 3-0 pitch, and the White Sox were already leading 11-4. Now, the Twins broadcast team did not like Yerman Mercedes hitting his 3-run home run on a 3-0 pitch, and the Minnesota Twins players did not like Yerman Mercedes hitting a 3-run home run on a 3-0 pitch. The White Sox players had no issues with it. Tim Anderson came out after the game in support of Yerman Mercedes. Trevor Bauer came out in support of Yerman Mercedes, saying that, hey, if anybody hits a 3-0 home run against him, he's just going to give him the old thumbs up and say, good job. But White Sox manager Tony La Russa did not like what Yerman Mercedes did, and he came out and said that there would be consequences for his rookie. Well, the consequences that came happened on Tuesday, and that was with the Twins starter hitting Yerman Mercedes, then getting tossed from the game, And also, Twins manager Rocco Baldelli, he also got tossed from the game as well. After the game, White Sox manager Tony La Russa again was asked about the Twins hitting Mercedes, and he actually defended it and said, hey, yeah, I completely understand why they did it. So you have the whole new school versus old school. You've got the old school manager in Tony La Russa, who isn't this, fun-loving guy. He's suit and tie, respect the game, old school manager, managing a team with the White Sox that is very much new school. This is a fun bunch, I think. Last year watching Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert in the outfield, it was fun to watch. Just Robert covering for Eloy Jimenez, them smiling, laughing with each other. Tim Anderson and some of his antics that he has is fun to watch. Jose Abreu's fun to watch. And yeah, they are a fun bunch. Okay, I'm going to say that. And to me, there's nothing wrong with it. And so they are very much new school. And again, they do the bat flips. They are about, these, you're not really listening to these unwritten rules of baseball that all these old school baseball guys, clearly didn't write, but, respected. And so you have this whole new school, old school thing. And here's my issue with it. I more have an issue with Tony La Russa. I have more of an issue with the Minnesota Twins getting all cranky about it. I have no issue with Yermán Mercedes hitting a home run. I don't care if it's a grand slam. I don't care on what pitch it is. I don't care if it's the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, 20th. I don't care what pitch it is. I don't care what the score is in the game. Dude, go and hit a home run. At that point in time, he's in a no-win situation. So let's all of a sudden say he doesn't hit a home run and he strikes out. He ends up just swinging at the next 3 pitches. They're all bad pitches. He ends up striking out. Well, then it gets looked at as a guy who's not really trying. Or he hits a double into the gap. Well, bringing in 2 runners and scoring too much. Seriously? These are adults. Not just Major League Baseball players. These are adults. If the Twins don't want to see that happen, guess what? Don't throw a 49-mile-an-hour eephus pitch. It's like a batting practice pitch. Don't throw that. Maybe, just maybe, have your pitchers earlier in the game, your actual pitchers, not a position player, your actual pitchers, give up less runs. Make it more of a game. Maybe tell your batters to score more runs. That's my adage. And I guess maybe this is where I am more new school. Whereas I kind of just, the way I was brought up was, you just got to be better from all angles. Again, if you're a pitcher and a batter hits a home run and wants to throw the bat and do a whole bat flip and wants to do somersaults to first base and circle the bases and all somersaults and handstands and all that, and you get cranky about it, you really don't have a right to be cranky about it because you gave up the gopher ball. Just like the batter doesn't have really much to say if a pitcher strikes him out and wants to strut around the mound and wants to give him the stare down and wants to, pump out his chest a little bit. So it goes both. Just be better. So I kind of look at the Twins and them being cranky is just, just be better. I could care less about Yermán Mercedes hitting a 3-run home run. Actually, I'm happy that he hit the 3-run home run. Maybe it'll help the Twins, not be the White Sox, BITCH. Again, this is a family program. Can't say it, but I can spell it. And again, it helped them on Tuesday because Tuesday the Twins ended up walking off the White Sox and ended up winning. So hey, fantastic, good for you. But then on the Tony La Russa side of things, again, when he was hired, there was already a lot of question marks because a lot of people thought that A.J. Hinch, who is now the manager for the Detroit Tigers, was going to land with the White Sox because the White Sox were in a similar position as what kind of the Houston Astros were in, where they got a bunch of young players, but they're ready to win now. And people thought that A.J. Hinch was going to go to the south side of Chicago, and that didn't happen. And people were kind of shocked by it. People were shocked that La Russa was hired. And it from the perspective that, again, he hasn't been around a major league clubhouse in a long time. Again, he retired back in, 2013, he retired. So he hadn't been around a locker room for a long time. Yes, he'd been a special advisor, but really hadn't been a manager for a long time. And the fact that, yeah, he's the old guy on the block going to a team that's got a lot of young players and a lot of antics on their team. So the fit already didn't make sense for that perspective. And then you add in some of the things that he has done, again, with some of the sabermetrics people. Again, there would be sabermetrics people that don't like the way that he constructs the lamp, don't like the way that he uses the bullpen, don't like the way that he uses the starters. Again, very old school type guy. And so there's all that stuff mixed in with it as well. And again, there was really not a question of if this kind of situation was going to happen, where a White Sox player was going to have some sort of antic that La Russa was going to be cranky, but it was just a matter of when it was going to happen. And I think that he's running a fine line, not just with the fans. Again, as for what I mentioned about the whole bullpen usage and starter usage and lineup construction and all that stuff, the fans already question him on that. But with the locker room itself, which is why I was kind of shocked that they weren't interested in Albert Pujols. I mean, from a player's perspective, no, they don't really have a fit. They weren't really a fit for Pujols. But from a locker room standpoint, he could have came in there being the basically Hall of Famer that what he is, and La Russa would have had a voice because of their time in St. Louis and the fact that Pujols loves La Russa and La Russa loves Pujols. La Russa would have had a voice in that locker room. Right now, I don't think he has a voice, and I think if he did, he kind of just lost it by defending what the Twins did and by saying there's going to be consequences and all that stuff. That's very old school mentality, and basically what I've said is he should stop forming words with his mouth, and he should kind of just back away. He shouldn't have said anything. He shouldn't have said about there being consequences. He shouldn't have said about how he agreed with what the Twins did. And he shouldn't say anything else. Just hush. Make it go away. Because you really sound like old dude on the block. You are very much old dude in a trying to be new, younger players league. Where there's a little bit more fun that's added. Rather than all these unwritten rules and respect for the game of baseball kind of stuff. And again, I'm done with all these unwritten rules. I've been done for a long time because at the end of the day, maybe write these rules down because I can't follow all of them. You know, the whole no bunting to break up a no-hitter. You can't hit a home run while, leading. By a significant amount of runs. You can't steal a base leading by a significant amount of runs. You can't take an extra base leading by a significant amount of runs. You can't... There's all these things you can't do and you should do. And there's so many unwritten rules. I don't care about these unwritten rules anymore. Either write them down and make them actual rules or just completely abolish them. Because it's getting tiring with all this stuff. So, to kind of wrap this up and to kind of make it more kind of organized what I'm saying... I don't agree with the old school approach. I don't agree with what La Russa said. I think that La Russa's lost and is going to lose his locker room if he continues to make comments the way that he's making comments. And from the Twins' perspective, get over it. Build a bridge and get over it. Because I hate to say it, don't be losing 11-4 to the White Sox. Don't be throwing in a positional player to pitch to other hitters. Because guess what? This is what's going to happen. Not all the time does it work out where the positional player is able to strike out, able to be like Anthony Rizzo striking out Freddie Freeman. Not all the time does that work out. He threw a cookie. Mercedes hit it a long way. Hit it over the fence. I have no problem with it. New school, new age. I'm totally down for that. Again, I don't like the whole homers. I don't like all the strikeouts. I don't love all that. But bat flips and homering on 3-0 pitches and grand slams up by a lot like what Ronald Acuna Jr. did, I have no problem with it. I love it. Bring it on. The more, the merrier. The old school, unwritten rules, respect the game of baseball. Yeah, you know what? at the end of the day, just be better and don't put yourself in that position to give up a home run. Don't put yourself in that position to give up a bunt for a base hit to break up a no-hitter. Don't put yourself in position to be down like 20 runs. That's all I have to say on it. That's my piece on it. And again, you can have a differencing of opinion, and that's fine with me. But like I said, bring on the new school game. Get rid of the old school game. All right, after I tell you why you should listen to the J-Man Show, we're going to be asking the question. I'll be answering the question as well. But is Shohei Ohtani the best player in baseball right now? Stay tuned for the answer. Hey, it's the J-Man here to talk about my new show, the J-Man Show, part of the new podcast series from J-Man Sports. It's it with the old and in with the new. The J-Man Show takes over for the old podcast, but adds its own flavor. Join me bi-weekly as we discuss and have fun with sports news. The J-Man Show is streaming exclusively on the new J-Man Sports YouTube channel. The J-Man Show, anything sports. Alrighty, welcome back. So before we took a break, I posed the question, is Shohei Ohtani the best player right now in Major League Baseball? And now I'm going to answer that question. When that debate comes up, I think of three players. Right now I think of three players. Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, and Mookie Betts. And it's actually in that order. Mookie Betts, because everything he does is smooth, and it seems like he just does nothing wrong. Mike Trout, because it just seems like every time he steps up, something magical is going to happen. And even when a ball's hit in his direction, it seems like something magical is going to happen. And Shohei Ohtani, because not only is this guy just, like in the previous 2 years, he was a guy that, yeah, we knew that he could throw 100 miles an hour. We knew that he could hit a ball 100 miles an hour. We knew that. But he's putting it together this season, where it's not just those numbers he's putting together, it's the actual performance level he's putting together, and he's excellent on both sides of the ball. I mean, pitching-wise, he's got a 2.10 ERA, which is one of the best in the league. I mean, Jacob deGrom with a 0.68 ERA is just redonkulous. But right now, Shohei Ohtani in the American League, you could argue he'd be the front runner for the Cy Young Award. Then you look at his statistics at the plate. He leads the American League in home runs. He's second in RBIs. He's seventh in steals, which is ridiculous. He's got a great slugging. He's got a great on-base percentage. And again, a great exit velocity for those who love exit velocity. So, yeah, he is right now the best player in Major League Baseball. And look, I said this to my father. I know I didn't say this out loud to people, so you have to go to my father to confirm this. But I said to him that if he stays healthy, he will be the MVP this season. Because he is going to be the best player this year if he can stay healthy. That's what I said. And my dad came back to me and said, well, he's got to stay healthy. That's a big if. And I agree with him. So right now, he's shown that he's staying healthy. And that when he does stay healthy, this is the product that we're getting. Like, this is like something that we have never really seen before. Again, we've seen great pitchers. We've seen great position players. But we're now seeing a guy doing it at the same time. Again, him staying healthy is still a big if. We're still relatively early in the season. We're not even a full 2 months in. So him staying healthy is still going to be a big question. And again, because you got to get your bullpen sessions, but you also got to get your batting cage in. There's a lot of things that he's got to do. But right now, he's in a groove on both sides, pitching-wise and at the plate. And it's just fun to watch. And it's must-see TV. Like, I want to watch Shohei Ohtani. Like, when he came to Detroit, I got to watch him pitch. And it was awesome. Like, I got to watch him physically go to the ballpark and watch him pitch, and it was awesome to watch. Again, guy's throwing 100 miles an hour. He's darting it on the outside, darting it on the inside. He's got a fantastic splitter. He's got really a repertoire of pitches, which is fantastic. He didn't last long in the game. He threw a lot of pitches, didn't end up lasting long. There was a rain delay, and there was the whole game with the if you're a Tigers fan, with the rally goose that came on to the field, and the trainer, handled it, and she ended up getting to throw the first pitch of the next Sunday's game at Comerica Park. It was that game. That he pitched in Detroit, and it was just like I said, it was phenomenal to watch him. And now when we get to hopefully be able to go back to Detroit, I want to be able to see him hit and see what he does at the plate. I've been lucky enough to be able to see Mike Trout basically every single year that he has played, other than last year. And hopefully this year I get to watch him again. I mean, he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, so I don't know, but I've gotten to see Mike Trout bat against the Tigers, and it's been fantastic. Every time we get there for batting practice, and I get to watch him do batting practice, and I get to watch him actually in the game itself, and what he does on a baseball field is terrific. And I'm not trying to downplay what Betts and what Trout and what all those other position players and what all these other great pitchers do, but it's just that Shohei Ohtani is doing it from both sides, and we just haven't seen it. And the other thing that it shows also with what he's doing, rather than him being the best player in baseball and Trout kind of being the second best player in baseball, is the fact that the Angels stink. And their front office sucks. And right now their coaching sucks. Joe Madden is not doing a great job. Their team is in dead last in the West. Their pitching is awful, as what everybody said that it was going to be. And honestly, their lineup has not been that great. Rendon has faced injuries. Now Mike Trout's going to be out. They released Albert Pujols for honestly, God knows what reason, because I don't understand why. You knew that he was going to hit into a lot of double plays, he was going to hit a lot of ground balls, but he wasn't going to strike out a whole lot. He was going to give you some pop, he was going to give you some RBIs. He was just steady 4, 5, 6 hitter. Now you're asking for Justin Upton to be better than what he's ever been in his career. He's never lived up, in my opinion, to being the number one player taken in the draft. You're asking a guy in David Fletcher, who's, yes, a very nice piece, but you're now asking him to do more damage. You're asking a guy in Jose Iglesias to be more of an offensive player when he's not really. You're asking Jared Walsh to take that next step up. And, again, the lineup is good. I'm not saying the lineup is bad, especially when healthy. I think the lineup is good, very good. But the problem is you knew that you weren't going to always be able to be healthy, and it was going to be, how can you manage these injuries? And right now, I would argue the lineup construction for the Angels is not very good. And again, their starters have the worst ERA in Major League Baseball. Their bullpen has one of the worst ERAs in baseball. And overall, their pitching just sucks. It's Shohei Ohtani, and then literally a huge drop-off in the rest of the starting pitchers and the rest of the bullpen. So it goes to show you that their front office is an utter disaster, what they're doing. But that's not that's a completely different topic for a completely different day. The question was, is Shohei Ohtani the best player in Major League Baseball? I think that he is. And I don't really think there's an argument, because he's doing it from both sides of the plate. And it's just something we have never seen. Ever. And it's fantastic. And he's ushering in a new era of players, because, again, Hunter Green for the Cincinnati Reds, he was a high school player. He was a two-way guy. He could throw 100 miles an hour, and he was a guy that projected to hit for power and for average, and he's been doing that in the minor leagues. Now, he's had some setbacks with some injuries. He had Tommy John surgery and that kind of thing, and that's going to be the biggest issue. Not just with Shohei Ohtani, but with these two-way players, it's going to be injuries. You have to get into a groove. You have to be able to get into a good routine where, again, you're not physically taxing your body each and every day, and bending this way and bending that way, and doing what major league players do. Okay, because pitchers' workouts are a lot different from what hitters' workouts are. And so Shohei Ohtani and these guys that want to do the whole two-way thing, they got to combine those workouts. And so, again, I love to see it. I think he's the best player. I think he's ushering in a new age of players. And the great thing is, he's right now in his prime. He's 26 years old. He's in his prime. So realistically, if he can stay healthy, he could be doing this for 4, 5, 6 years. And he could go down as one of the best players in the history of baseball. And again, if he stays healthy, which will be a big, big, big question. But right now, yes, Shohei Ohtani is the best player in Major League Baseball. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the podcast. And don't worry, you definitely will be hearing from me soon. Thanks.